Hey guys, so yeah, we're back. Now seeing what that sound is, the ice cream truck. Just gonna put on some relaxing music and yeah, we're just gonna get into it. Oh my god, why are they all live? We're gonna do my skincare, makeup, everything that you guys want. I've already cleansed my face. Now I just need to moisturize my face with the Burt's Bees. I use this Burt's Bees Refreshing Foaming Cleanser. Now I'm gonna use the Burt's Bees Daily Moisturizing Cream. It's so good when I sleep. Literally so calming. You guys should use this. So actually, alright guys. So yeah, the ice cream truck is here, and my neighbor's kids, they're like 15, and they're like super rushing. Can't forget that like try to smooth it out like the dance. Gotta do the eyebrows. I use this too. I forgot like my eyebrow gel. Sometimes I know my eyebrows stop. I like the least thing that I can find to my makeup thing. It's like my eyebrow pencil and my it's actually 726. I thought that maybe you know can hang out with me for the night. Yeah, I've still not bath cause I just finished my dinner, washed out the dishes. I was like, why not to live stream? That's better for my health. You know, like contract with people on island. Yeah. Yeah. So calming music it is then. Gonna put some calming music on. Just relax.
What does creative freedom look like to us?
We'd make our
That's an ad. Don't mind it. Okay. Gonna do some makeup and all those things. Yeah. Don't come in any soon. So yeah. So whenever it goes like this, that means my dad is in here. But yeah. I think that's super small. Don't worry. Now let's just get into it. First, I just want to put on some lip tint. Okay. This is so natural. I love it. I was actually watching the Diana story on YouTube. So fascinating. I mean, she went through a lot, a whole lot. I'm going to do my eyeliner now, and don't ask me what I'm doing now. It's because my eyeliner like always messes up. So whenever I'm doing my makeup, I kind of do it when I'm doing my makeup. Like at that moment, I messed up. Okay, so I'm going to be using. I mean, this is a live stream, so yeah, personally can do anything. I'm going to be using the Fresh and Up Flashable. I don't say that word, but you just read it yourself. And I'm going to use it to. I pulled out so many. Oh my gosh. That's so much. I'll save them. I am just gonna Yeah. My dad is here. But I am kind of just putting on some concealer on my eye. He's still here, so yeah. Okay. Cause I'm live now. Yeah. Thank you. Alright. Okay, love you. Okay, so he is officially gone. I have some pretty light concealer right here. So my markers are like all here. I scattered all around. So I'm gonna use my hand. I mean, why use a brush or anything? Because I've been using my hand for like since I was born to like do stuff. Maybe my makeup. I think that I use my hand for like everything. I don't know. Oh, it's dried. This concealer dries so easily. Let go with the butter. I hate this. So I'm just going to do a natural makeup. That's what I'm gonna do. Wow. Take me up to the hotel room. I have been experiencing something. I mean, I don't really have to say it now, but I think I need to say it now, or like, I'm not going to be able to like say it because I'm always like that. So I think I'm using actually lipstick, lip gloss, that thing that's long, like lipstick to be my blush, be my hair, be my blush, be everything. I don't know how to do this because mine sucks, by the way. Yeah. I don't know, I think I'm not going to put any foundation on, no concealer and no blush. I'm just going to do like my eyeliner, something like that. Ooh, this eyeliner is so pretty. I love it. See. I hope this is good because like tried all my best for this, so I hope it's good. Have you guys ever thought of using like eyeliner for your eyebrow? I've actually never thought of that, but like now that I think of it, let's just do something. Okay, first spread it out. Don't wait for it to dry and just comb it out back to the certain point that you like it. This is so messy. Really messy story. I mean, it's not bad, but like it didn't take all of my eyebrows, so I'm just gonna do one more take. Yeah, I don't have time. Super bad. You know what? I'm just gonna stop doing all these and just concentrate on you guys knowing me better. I just feel like I've been like When I'm starting this video, I told you guys that I think something is bugging me and I need to tell you guys. Even if I have not known you guys for a while, because I think that as you subscribe to me, I need to be more honest with you. So, yeah. So I'm just gonna do my makeup and yeah, just tell you guys this story because I feel like I've been waiting on you guys for a while and I don't need to do that. I'm just going to get my brush. Just wait here. Football will stand out here. Not funny. Okay. So this is the story. I have my makeup brush there and my dad thinks it's a paintbrush because I do a lot of painting and he do not like me doing the painting even though the painting is so good. Really, I can show you some painting right now. But I'm not a pro, but he still threw it away and I was like, gosh, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, you're just making my life miserable every single chance that you get. And I just hate it. Cause like it's my brush like you needed to ask me first. I'm literally going to cry. Because like it's my brush and like you have to ask me first, like if it's like, if I'm okay with it, like you throwing away. Which obviously I am not going to be okay with it because it's a makeup brush, literally. The Baba bought the makeup brush for that's even her makeup brush, that's not even mine. So yeah. He just screws everything away that he don't like. It just really pisses me off and I just hate him. Everything is just so bumping this house. I hate this house. Wish I could just move away and go to another country. Now, what do I blend the makeup with? Nothing. Yeah, nothing. I'm just going to put on some makeup star times. Okay, I'm coming. Now would you say that? Would you say this? No. Okay, so I found some makeup and I just put it on.
A story time about the worst date in my entire life. And ladies, this is why you should really know a guy before meeting up with him. By the way, we're calling him Slim Jim. So I met Slim Jim over Instagram.
Wait, Slim Jim? What the heck? Slim Jim. Really? That name. You could have just said Dork.
Cute, and he lived in my area. He DM'd me about a date. So a couple weeks later, we went out to dinner.
I need to use my hand to the left.
The date, he seemed pretty cool, but he kept looking down at his phone. I didn't want to get upset because he wasn't my boyfriend. When we ordered, the guy literally gets $200 worth of food, and me, on the other hand, I got a $20 solid. But all throughout the date, he kept looking around, and I was so confused. And he constantly said that he needed to go to the bathroom. He told me that he took medicine that made him go to the bathroom a lot. The last time he went to the bathroom, he was going for like 30 minutes. And at that point, I was irritated and ready to go until a random girl walked up to me asking if I knew Slim Jim was here. I told her we were on a date, and she basically told me that she was his girlfriend and baby mama. If you want to know what happened after that, let me know down below in the comments. This is part 2 of the worst date in my life. And the reason why, ladies, you need to really know a guy before meeting up with him. So, like I said before, he left me at a table for like 30 minutes, and I got upset because I thought he was trying to ditch me to pay the bill. Well, then a couple minutes later, a girl comes up to me asking if I was on a date with Slim Jim. I told her yes, and she basically explained that she was his girlfriend and baby mom. Well, at this point, she was his ex-girlfriend. She starts telling me the craziest things about him, that he robs people and that he will soon be doing time for being a part of a murder investigation, and that I should stay away from him because he had HIV and that he gave it to her. I had to ask her, how did you find him? And she tells me that he takes all his new girls here. Then she leaves out the restaurant. 5 minutes later, Slim Jim comes back and tells me he thinks he dropped his wallet. In my head, I'm assuming that he's trying to make me pay for the $200 dinner. So I tell him that I have to go to the bathroom. I'm running out of time. This is part 3 of the worst date in my entire life. And the reason why you ladies need to really know a guy before meeting up with him. So his baby mom comes in and tells me the craziest things about him and then dips out. Slim Jim comes back out of the bathroom claiming he lost his wallet, so I had told him that I needed to go to the bathroom. When I get into the bathroom, I'm looking for an escape plan to leave out. When I get out of the bathroom, I walk the opposite way of her table and almost make it out of the restaurant. Next thing you know, I'm getting tapped on the shoulder and I turn around and it's him. I'm literally so confused because he was just sitting down the whole time. He asked me where the hell was I going, and I told him I was looking for the bathroom. He starts to act very weird. He walks me over to the bathroom and literally waits outside of the bathroom door until I get out. And guys, I didn't know what else to do. I needed an escape plan, and I saw a window in the bathroom and literally climbed out of the window to get away from this man. Then 2 weeks later, come to find out he gets arrested, and he's given 23 years in prison. This story time is why I stopped being friends with a girl because her dad was a pervert. And we're calling her Kim. So me and Kim became friends at school. Over time, we realized we lived close together. So she started coming over to my house and I started going over to hers. She had 5 brothers and she was the only girl. Whenever I'd come over to her house, I'd say hello to everyone, but her dad was always excited to see me. He'd immediately run and give me a hug. Over the past couple months, he'd give me a hug and a kiss on the cheek. He said that I was his new little girl. I felt uncomfortable with it. But I went and told my friend Kim, and she said, he's just glad you're here, and you're like family now. I was like, okay, I guess. And I would just ignore it. Thanksgiving come up, and I went over to her house for a plate. Her dad opened up the door and gave me a hug and a kiss, as usual. I walked in the house, and he said, you need to eat to keep that booty plump. I laughed in nervousness. He slapped and squeezed my butt. There's more that happened after this. Let me know if you guys want a part 2. This is part 2 of why I stopped being friends with the girl because her dad was a pervert. So remember how I told y'all I came over for Thanksgiving? Her dad slapped and squeezed my butt. I was weirded out, but I laughed to hide how nervous and anxious I was. After I get a plate of food and I sit down with Kim, I told her dad slapped my butt. And she was like, yeah, okay, as if she didn't believe me. So again, I ignored the situation. As the day goes on, everyone is playing board games, laughing, and eating desserts. I had cheesecake and I'm lactose intolerant, and you know how that went. I left the family for a few minutes and I go to the bathroom. When I was all finished, I opened up the door and there was Kim's dad just sitting there smiling at me. I was like, oops, my bad. You were probably waiting for a while. Here you go. And I tried to move out of the way, but then he says, I don't need to go to the bathroom. He pushes me back in by the hips and locks the door. It gets really bad after this. Y'all let me know if I should make a part 3.
I'm using an EOS.
This is part 3 of why I stopped being friends with the girl because her dad was a pervert. So after her dad pushes me back into the bathroom and locks the door, he's sitting there smiling at me, and I asked him very nervously if I did something wrong. He was like, yes, you haven't been spending time with daddy, and he likes to jiggle my breasts in a weird way. At this point, I was begging up because he starts acting weird. Then he starts unzipping his pants and gets closer to me. And guys, their bathroom wasn't that big. I immediately took the Windex that was on top of their toilet and sprayed it into his eyes and quickly ran out of the bathroom. After this, her dad starts yelling. While I'm coming downstairs, everyone asks what's going on. I told the whole family what Kim dad has done, and one of their little brothers yells at me, calling me a whore. I then went to Kim saying, you gotta believe me, that's what happened. She's like, my dad would never do anything like that. Her mom walks up to me and tells me that I should leave. I start crying, and then her mom yelled at me and tells me to go home. So I left and went home crying. After that, I never went back over to her house. Around this time in October, a couple years ago when I was in 7th grade, I went to a friend's house for a slumber party, and we're calling her Charlotte. It was Charlotte's birthday party, and she had a big sleepover with 10 other girls. I knew 6 of them because they were friends and they lived in our neighborhood. The other 4 were her cousins and a friend from school. She had ice cream and cake, we danced, prank called, the regular preteen sleepover. Later that night, we watched a scary movie, and after it was over, one of Charlotte's friends from school said, we should play the Ouija board. By the way, we're calling her Sam. I wasn't really into it because my mom always told me to stay away from those things. Charlotte wanted to play too, and she said, how are we going to play without the board? Sam said, we can make one. All we need is cardboard. Somehow they found cardboard in the kitchen, and Sam made the board and a triangle piece with a hole in it. I was like, that's not going to work. When Sam and Charlotte played, the piece moved across the board. When the piece moved, everyone screamed, and Charlotte's dad came in the room asking what the problem was. Charlotte immediately scooted the board under the bed and said, I thought I saw a bug, but it was just a hairball. And her dad seemed a little irritated, but he just walked out the room. When he left, Sam pulled the board back from under the bed, saying that the game needed to be finished, but Charlotte said she still wanted to ask questions. So everyone each got to ask a question, and the board answered it. They even asked questions of today, and at the time, our president was Obama, and it knew who the president was. When it was Sam's turn, she asked jokingly, since the board knew everything, she asked when we were going to die, and it said, tonight. And from there on, everyone stopped playing. Charlotte got scared and didn't even want to touch the board anymore. Sam constantly said that we all have to say goodbye, but everyone wanted to stay away. And usually when you don't say goodbye, the spirits that you talk through the board continue to roam around your home. This story time is how my toxic ex-boyfriend stole $5,000 out of my bank account to give to a girl he was cheating on me with. So I've been with my ex 3 years prior to breaking up. We met at a party. He seemed pretty cool. And from there, he was really nice and different from any guy I met. Any other guy I talked to didn't seem interested in me, but him. It was like he was obsessed with me. He even said that he loved me after 2 weeks of talking. I thought it was cute, but I wasn't trying to get serious so soon. He came off very strict of what he wanted, and one of those things were me. And after 6 months of meeting this great guy, he completely changed. He became physically and emotionally abusive. I even tried to leave at some points of the relationship. One day, he asked if I could spare him some gas money because he needed to pick up his mom's medicine. So I trusted my boyfriend of 3 years and gave him my card to take the money out the ATM. When he came back and gave me my card, he went ghost for 2 days. And of course, I was upset and I blew up his phone, afraid of what happened to him. When I checked my bank statement, it showed that he took out $5,000. If y'all want to know what happened after that, This is part 3 of how my toxic ex-boyfriend stole $5,000 out of my bank account to give to a girl he was cheating on me with. So after he lied and told everyone we broke up, I found out he was cheating on me with another girl and used the money I gave him to give her her first and last month's rent. I knew exactly what apartment the girl lived in because his mom had told me. I went to the front desk and asked if there was a Kayla, and I lied and said it was for a family emergency. So the guy at the front desk was able to reach her. She had came down, she walked to the desk, and the guy at the desk pointed her towards me. I walked up to her and asked if she knew who I was, and she said no, and I broke everything down to her, telling her everything our boyfriend lied about. And she was so nice, she had no clue that any of this was going on. She even cried, but I told her to stop because I had a revenge plan and that he was going to get everything that was coming to him. And I asked if she wanted to join, and luckily she said yes. So if y'all want to know what happened after that, let me know down below in the comments. And this is when it gets juicy. This is part 4 of how my toxic ex-boyfriend stole $5,000 out of my bank account to give to a girl he was cheating on me with. So after I met Kayla, the girl he was cheating on me with, we created the ultimate get-back plan. So she had to completely act like she never met me. She told him she wanted to meet up and go on a surprise vacation and that she wanted to do something fun. And him being dumb, he agreed to it. She told him to pack a bag of his nicest clothes and bring his passport. He came to her place with all his things and they got in a car. I was on the floor in the back seat and he had no clue. So she drove really far from home and stopped by the gas station because she wanted to get frisky. She told him to take off his shoes. Him being dumb, he took off his shoes. She told him to get out of the car real quick because she needed to get the surprise from under the seat. And I popped up and he jumped back. Then I closed and locked the door. He was lost and got mad and started yelling at me, calling me all types of names. If y'all want to know what happened after that, please let me know down below in the comments.
Okay, we have next one. What else going to be playing?
Story time of my crazy stalker ex-boyfriend. By the way, we're calling him Michael. So me and Michael started talking in the middle of my senior year in high school. I met him at a friend's party, and he seemed pretty cool.
First, you have to create
He would take me out all the time.
the line.
His family. He said he loved me within the first week. He wanted all of my time, and he seemed so perfect. Until suddenly, he started to get very controlling. He never wanted me to go out anywhere. He didn't like the clothes that I wear. He didn't like any of my friends. He made me feel guilty whenever I tried to do something for myself. After months of dealing with this controlling behavior, I wanted to leave the relationship. He got mad at me. He was threatening to hurt me and himself if I left. I told him I was done. The next day, like any old regular day, I go to school and I come back home. But when I came back home, I opened up my door and I see Michael sitting on my couch with a taser. I'll be back for part 2. This is part 2 story time of my crazy stalker ex-boyfriend. So like I said before, I get home and Michael is sitting on my couch with a taser. I ask him, "What are you doing here? And how did you get in?" He's like, "Your mom let me in. I told her you asked for help for homework." I yelled and called for my mom, and he's like, "Oh, she left. She said she was going to the grocery store real quick." I turn around and try to leave out the house. He runs and shuts the door. He's like, "Oh, baby, please don't go. Listen, I heard you earlier, and I'm sorry for being so controlling. I just love you so much, and I don't want anything to happen to you." I asked him, "Why did you pop up, and why did you bring a taser?" He said, "I just wanted to surprise you." And I'm like, "For what?" He goes into his pocket and pulls out a ring saying he wanted to get engaged, trying to hand me a ring that looked like he got out of a gumball machine. I laugh at him, and he pushes me against the door. It gets real scary after this. Y'all let me know if y'all want a part 3. This is part 3 story time of my crazy stalker ex-boyfriend. So like I said before, he popped up at my house with a taser. He told me he wanted to get engaged, and basically if I didn't say yes, he was going to hurt me. So for the time being, I pretended like everything was okay, and I told him yes, even though the idea of it disgusted me. He told me he wanted to go on a getaway trip and that I should pack my bags. I was like, "I have school tomorrow." He said, "You can miss 1 day of school for your man." I told him no. He grabbed my arm, telling me to go get my stuff. I went upstairs immediately, and when I got to my room, I tried to call the cops. And I guess he overheard me because he busted into my room, starting to fight me. I don't know how, but we ended up in the hallway, and he fell down the stairs. He became unconscious, and at that moment, I ran out of the house, and I called the cops again. but about an intruder. He ended up waking back up and was arrested, but that wasn't just it. A couple years later, he came around stalking me at school, my job, even my friends and family. This story times how I caught my uncle filling on my cousin, in other terms, his daughter. So when I was 11, my cousin was throwing a party, then afterwards a sleepover. By the way, we're calling her Adrian, and she was turning 13. So the day of the party, me and my other sister were dropped off by my dad, and we were dropped off very early, maybe 5 hours before the party, and that's because he had to go to work, and my uncle didn't mind taking us all together to the party. Plus, we got to help him set up for the party. When we arrived, we went to Adrian's room, and she got her hair done. It looked so good. When we were talking to her, she just seemed so sad. And you know, when you're younger, you can tell when things are off. She seemed bratty, and she would say that she hated her mom and her dad. To me, I'm like, why? She had the perfect life. Fast forward, she throws the party, and when it's all over, we go back to her house for the slumber party. We ate snacks, played games, watched movies till we fell asleep. I'm a light sleeper. And when everyone was asleep, my uncle came in the living room, tapped on Adrian's shoulder, and told her she got to go to sleep in her bed tonight. Let me know if I should. This is part two of how I caught my uncle touching on my cousin, in other terms, his daughter. So early before, I told you guys everyone went to sleep. We were all asleep in the living room floor in front of the TV, and my uncle tapped on Adrian, telling her that she needed to sleep in her bed tonight. I'm a light sleeper, and I was woke the whole time. Adrian was still asleep, so my uncle picked her up and took her to her room. I was confused on why she had to go to sleep in her room because everyone was asleep downstairs. So 15 minutes passed. I'm still waiting there bored. I don't know what came to me, but I was just curious to see if Adrian was up. I mean, she might have been because I would have woke up if I was switched to a new room. I don't know. I just went up. When I got upstairs, I opened the door. Adrian was asleep, but she was completely naked, and my uncle was sitting right next to her, touching on her. I'm out of time. Let me know if I should make a part three. This is part three of how I caught my uncle touching on my cousin, in other terms, his daughter. Like I said, I couldn't sleep, so I went upstairs to see if Adrian was up. When I opened up the door, Adrian was asleep, but she was naked, and my uncle was touching on her. I got scared and was about to run downstairs, but he ran after me, covered up my mouth, and sat me back down in the room. I started crying, and he said if I didn't shut up, he was going to beat me, so I shut right up. In the midst of it all, when he was standing up, I didn't notice before, but he had on no pants. I started sniffling, and the noise I was making had woke Adrian up. She looked at me, then looked at herself and saw that she had on no clothes. She jumped back and immediately wrapped herself up in a blanket. I started crying again, and my uncle said, "If you don't shut up, girl, I'm going to smack you." Then Adrian yelled at him and said, "Don't hurt her." And immediately he popped her and said, "What I tell you about talking back?" And from there, Adrian just sat there frozen, touching her face, and I shut right up. This story time is about how my boyfriend exposed my nudes to everyone at school. By the way, we're calling him Keith. So I've been with my boyfriend Keith for 4 months. He seemed pretty cool and chill and very outgoing. He played basketball and was very popular in school. So when he started talking to me, I felt very special. But as time went by, he wasn't the guy who I thought he was. He was pretty self-entitled, cocky, and it got annoying. He expected everything to be handed to him. Anyway, throughout the relationship, he'd always ask for nudes, but I always tell him no because I'm not that type of girl to send any guy nudes. He'd always get mad at me and say couples are supposed to do that type of stuff, but I didn't give in. I'd always take pictures of myself because I liked my body, but I would never send them to anyone. One day, Keith comes over to my house. We chill for a little bit, and then my mom had called me. And then when I had came back, I saw him on my phone. When I snatched my phone from him, he sent the pictures that I took of myself and sent them to his phone. It get really reckless after this. This is part two of how my boyfriend exposed my nudes to everyone in school. So after he snuck into my phone and sent my nudes to himself, I got mad at him and told him to delete them. He tries to justify why he should keep them, but I say no because they were private. So then he shows me he's deleting them. After that, I kicked him out of my house for invading my privacy. Next day, I get ready for school. I text my boyfriend good morning as usual, but he didn't respond, which I thought was weird. When I get to school, everyone is staring at me. One of the basketball players at my school came up to me and said, "You're wild." I was like, "What?" When I get to class, one of the girls sitting in front of the class said, "Girl, you're bold." And I'm still confused. When I sat down at my seat and I opened up my phone, I went through Snapchat, watching everyone's stories, and I saw my nudes on one of Keith's friend's story. After this, it gets terrible. This is part 3 of how my boyfriend exposed my news to everyone at school. So after I saw that Keith sent my news to one of his friends exposed my news on Snapchat. I got upset when lunchtime hit. I came into the lunchroom and everyone was staring at me. One of my best friends came up to me and asked me if I posted my news online. And I told her no and explained what Keith probably did. That lunchtime hit and we went around searching for him, but he wasn't there. I didn't know what to do, but my friends tried to convince me to go to the counselor, but I was embarrassed and I didn't want anyone to know about them or for them to tell my parents. I tried texting Keith on why did he do that, why did he send those people my pictures, but he just blocked me. I wasn't even sad about it no more, I just got upset. So I called my older brother about it and I told him what Keith did. And he said he'd be at my school at the end of the day and that he'll handle the whole situation. So school ends and everyone is leaving out. Me and my best friend walk up together to meet up with my brother. When I get outside, all I see is my brother and his friends jumping Keith. It gets crazy after this. Let me know if you guys want a part 4. This is part 4 of how my boyfriend exposed my news to everyone in school. Like I said earlier, I was supposed to be meeting up with my brother after school, but I saw him and his friends jumping my boyfriend Keith. Everyone was crowded around him, and you can tell that Keith was getting it bad. His lip was busted, 2 black eyes, hands were bleeding, and his clothes were ripped up, and he had bruises on his legs and arms. And all his friends backed up, and the one who posted the news wasn't there. By the time I reached down to the crowd, the cops came, and I'm pretty sure it was probably because the school called. And I was trying to stop my brother and pull him off of Keith, but him and his friends just kept going at him. When the cops came storming in, they all hopped out of their cars. They screamed at everyone, telling everyone to back up. By the time they reached the center, they arrested my brother and his friends, and they had to get an ambulance for Keith. By the time they reached the center, they arrested my brother and his friends, and they had to get an ambulance for Keith. My brother tried to escape, but they tased him and he fell to the ground. At this point, it gets really sad. To be honest, I don't even think y'all actually want to know what happened after that, but let me know down below. This is part 5 of how my boyfriend exposed my news to everyone in school. So after the fight broke up, the cops were called and they arrested my brother and his friends, but Keith had to get an ambulance. Afterwards, I went home and my friends came with me. At this point, I had to tell my parents. They were really disappointed, but they weren't hard on me. They ended up going to my school, talked to my counselors and all the teachers about it, which was very embarrassing for me. They brought in one of the students who was Keith's friend that actually posted the pictures. Some other stuff went down, but we were able to press charges, ask my brother, my parents bailed him out. But Keith tried pressing charges against my brother, but since I was already pressing charges against him for exposing my pictures, he ended up having to drop the charges because it was too much going on. Some other stuff went down in between, but it's too much to explain. But at the end of it all, I won the case. Keith and his friends ended up having to leave the school, and of course, I broke up with Keith. But my news will forever circle around the internet.
Thundermaker.
Story time about how I found out my
I'm
husband
alive.
gave me HIV
Okay.
while I was pregnant. So me and my husband were high school sweethearts. He
No.
was very kind, very in tune about my feelings, and we
Well,
were like
I'm
best
live.
friends. We never really did anything sexual because he didn't want our relationship to be like that. We were together for 6 years, waited until marriage to lose our virginity to one another. The year before getting married, I noticed he would stare at guys a lot, but I would never really think anything about it because at least he was not looking at girls. Fast forward, we get married, and 2 years later, I get pregnant, and we were both excited. When I get to the doctors, I get my yearly test done for STDs, of course, but as always, I'm clean. Maybe 1 or 2 weeks later, I get a call from the doctor saying I tested positive for HIV. Let me know if you guys want a part 2. Part 2 of how I found out my husband gave me HIV while I was pregnant. Like I said earlier, 2 weeks later, I get a call from the doctor saying I tested positive for HIV. I was shaking and crying, and I was so in shock. And the only thing I ever heard about HIV at the time was that I only had a couple months to live. I couldn't believe the only man that I've ever been with gave me this disease. I thought I was doing everything right, the right way, and still ended up being in a hole. I was so nervous to confront my husband because I didn't think it was like him to cheat on me, and I thought maybe he thought I was cheating. So the next day, I pretended everything was fine. I lied to him and told him that my phone died and that I needed his to call my mother. He gave me his phone. I went into the bathroom and immediately I started snooping. As I'm going through his phone, I didn't see any text from girls. So I'm like, maybe the doctor got the wrong test. I'm running out of time. Come back for part three. Part three of how I found out my husband gave me HIV while I was pregnant. So, like I said, I went to his phone and I didn't see any text from other girls. So I'm thinking maybe the doctor called the wrong person.